create a simple API using ASP.NET Core. Today we are taking it a step further. We will learn how to fetch data from a database using Entity Framework Core in an ASP.NET Core Web API. If you are enjoying this series, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming tutorials. Let's get started. So in our last video, we have created one controller, that is product controller, and in that we have added two products and displayed the same in the Postman Swagger. So today we are going to add one database and one product table. So let's create a database, new database, and name it as product, or we can say e-commerce. So we have created one e-commerce database here, and in tables, let's create a table. Create on tables, right click, new, and then table. We can create product ID. Let's take it as integer. Then product name, varchar 50, or we can say that 200. Then we can have price, that can be float. Okay, so let's right click, save table 1, enter a name for the table. So let's rename it as products. Okay, so let's create here, click here and refresh it from here. So our table is now created. Right click and edit top 200 records, so that we can add few rows in this one. So ID is 1, product name can be laptop, price we can add like 50,000, product 2 and mobile, and it can to 20,000. So now we have added two products in our table. So our table is created. If you right click on this table and select top 1000 rows, so you can see there are two rows in this table. Okay, so let's move to our Visual Studio to fetch the data from the table. Okay, so first of all, let's move to Solution Explorer. Now in this project we have one product API project, so let's add one more project and select class library. Okay, and programming language is C#. Click on next, name it as models. Okay, click on next, select the framework. Our framework is .NET 9.0, so let's create the project. Now our project is created with a default class, that is class 1, so we can rename it as product. You are renaming a file. Would you also like to perform a rename in this project of all references to the code element class 1? Yes, so its name is changed here and here as well. Okay, so our first product class and model is created. We can call also it as a DTO class, data to object. Then let's add another layer that can be called as next. We can call it as product dot data access layer, so del. Next, same way .NET 9 and then create. Okay, now our product.del project is created with the default class one. So let's right click on this one and add new folder and rename it as repositories. Okay, we can delete this class default class file from here. Let's add one class interface here, that can be iProduct repository slash interface, and then iProduct repository. Click on add button. So our change internal to public interface is created, and we can add here like public task enumerable, and we have product dot models dot product. So we need to add this product dot model project in this. So let's right click here, add project reference, and select product dot models. Click on OK. So now our model is located here, so we can get products async. Okay, so our iProduct repository is created. So let's create one more class file, and that is product repository, product repository, product repository. Click on add. Okay, let's change it to public. Let's right click and sorry, not right click, add interface, and click on implement interface. So it will implement it here and add async. Okay. Okay, so we have added this, implemented this iProduct repository. So now we have iProduct repository, product repository. Let's add entity framework in this project. So right click, manage NuGet packages, browse, type entity framework, entity. Let's see what will come. So it's here, Microsoft.entity framework core. Okay, so what is this? Entity framework core is a modern object database mapper that lets you build a clean, portable, and high level data access layer with .NET. Okay, so let's install it, add it to our project, click on apply, then click on I accept. So it is now added to our project, data access layer project. So this is Microsoft.entity framework core, and we are currently working with SQL Server. So let's add one more component from here, that can be, that is entity framework, Microsoft.entity framework.core.sql server, because we are using SQL Server. So if you are using any other database like PostgreSQL or anything else, you can use accordingly. Like for SQLite we have this one. So for SQLite, this one, and there can be more for PostgreSQL and others. So we have Microsoft.Entity Framework Core.SQL Server. Click on install, click on apply, I accept. Yeah, this is also added. So we have added two packages from here. One is Entity Framework Core and other is Entity Framework Core.SQL Server to use the SQL Server database. Okay, that we can check it from here, like we have packages and these are our packages that we have recently added to our project to access the database. Okay, now let's move to product repository. Okay, before moving it, minimize it, right click and click add class, and in class let's add a class app DbContext. Okay, let's change it to public and contact and DbContext. Okay, so now a DbContext instance represents a session with the database. Okay, and can be used to query and save instances of your entities. Okay, so it is used for the session with the database and to query our tables. Okay, so let's add public app DbContext, its constructor, and in this constructor let's add DbContext options, context options is this one, and in this let's add app DbContext, then options, base, options. Okay, so we have created this constructor. Now let's add our db set for our table that we can also call as entity here, and our table is products. Okay, so this will map to our table. Okay, so first of all let's go to this class and this product.models. So click on this class, we have public class product, open the database, and in this we have id, name, price. So let's create these fields here, public int id, then public string name, then this one, and change it to price, and float or double. Okay, so we have three properties here as we have in our table, that is products. Okay, so we have created this one, so let's close this. So now in our app DbContext we have this entity with the same properties as the table. Okay, so it is now done. Okay, and in this one let's use the private read only, then DbContext and context. Then let's create the constructor public product repository, and in product repository, yes, so now this copies to this one. Okay, and here we have public async task enable this models dot product dot models. Okay, get product async. So let's remove it here from here. Return context dot products dot to list async. Okay, okay, we have sync here, then we need to await it. So asynchronously creates a list from iQueryable by enumerating it asynchronously. Okay, so we have asynchronously product list here. We have added our app DbContext here, and on this context we used entity asynchronously to list all the product lists. So our product repository is created, product repository is created. Okay, and DbContext is created. Now let's create one more project, new project, class library, and name it as product .bll, business logic layer. We can say it business logic layer. Click next, and again select .NET 9.0 and then create. Okay, so now our project is created, product.bll. So we have this class, so let's delete this class. Okay, now let's create one folder, name services. Okay, in services let's create a class interface and name it as iProduct service. Okay, click add, change internal to public, and again add your method in this public task enumerable, and again we need to add our product models reference. So let's right click, add references, so project reference, and select models and data access layer. Okay, so we have added these two references. So in this we have product dot models dot product entity, then get products. Okay, this is done. So this is our public interface iProduct service in business logic layer. This is created, then again right click, add a new project, then no, not new project, new class, then rename it as product service, and replace internal with public, and add this product service, and then implement this interface. Now we have implemented this one, so let's create private read only, oh sorry, read only, we need to add product repository here to get the data. So product repository, okay, using this one, so it's using references added here, so this one, and we can say that repository. So let's add public product service, create a constructor product service, and here product I project repository repo, then this one. Okay, now we have our repo available, so let's async it, and we have added async. Now let's where products equals to await underscore repo dot get products async and return the products. So our product service is also created, which is using the product repository and getting data from there, from the entity. Okay, so this is also done. Okay, we have services, product service, okay, and product repository. So like now we need to add some dependency injections here. That means like just a second, right click and add class to add the services, so that our data access layer will not directly be referenced in API project. Okay, so let's rename it dependency injection. Okay, click on add. So internal to public, change internal to public. Okay, now let's create one extension method here, public static iService collection, add services, and this let's iService collection services, also I configuration, and to make it extension method, add this keyword here. So let's add our services dot add scoped and iProduct repository, then another service dot add scoped iProduct service, product service to product service. This is done. So as we don't want to add our directly reference our data access layer to our API layer, so let's add our database connection here. Okay, so in services dot add DbContext and app DbContext. We have available app DbContext here because we have reference to product.dal data access layer in this project, but we don't want to go like directly reference data access layer to API layer. That's why we are adding it here. So let's options, and this, then options dot use SQL Server, and in configuration dot get connection string from the app settings file, and let's name it here. So we have our connection string here, so let's copy it from here and let's add to app settings to here. So we have connection strings server, and our database name is e-commerce, so let's pick it from here, copy and paste. Then we have trusted connection equals to true, encrypt the connection and trust this server certificate. That is our server is our database. So we have created our default connection here, and copy this name and paste it here so that it can initialize the database. So let's, why it's giving error. Okay, we have service collection written, so let's return services. Okay, why it's okay, we need to put static here. So our class is static, and we have one extension method here that is used for dependency injection on these services, and in this we have initialized our database with the given connection string. Okay, so I think we are done with the our product dot business logic layer. Okay, so we are also done with this one, we are done this one. So let's move to our program class, and in this program class we need to add our services. So let's builder dot services dot add services. Let's add the .api dot add project reference BLL and models. Let's add this one. Okay, so let's move to this one. It's giving us error. It's using this one. Okay, and in this is the iService collection and iConfiguration. So let's add configuration to configuration. Okay, so now we have added this line this will call this dependency injection method. Let's put debug pointer here. So it will create dependency injection and add the connection string here. Okay, so let's remove this debug pointer from here. Now this one, we have already added our Swagger. Okay, we have HTTPS redirection, Swagger controllers, we have added this one. Let's move to product controller. Now in this product controller, we are at API level, so we need to use these services from the business logic layer to move to the data access layer and fetch the data from the database. So let's remove this part. First of all, let's add one private read only iProduct service underscore service. Okay, then create its constructor public product controller, this one. So this goes to this one. So this is our HTTP get method. Okay, so let's public, then put async here, and then task. In task, let's put it here as this is our action method, so we can use action result here and put get. Let's remove it here and click return, click OK, and then await. Then we have our service dot get products, and then this is done. So now we have our service here, sorry, we have our API controller, product controller here. In this product controller we created our service, that is product I service. So and this service contains this method product get products, and this get products is available in our business logic layer, that is our this layer. And this business logic layer has the dependency on product dot data access layer, and this data access layer directly connected to the database, which fetches the data from the database. So let's put it here. Now this one F9. Okay, so I think we are done here. Let's try to build our project and run it. Build solution. Yeah, there is no error. For succeeded, build succeeded. So let's try to run our project. Yeah, I think we have already in previous video added the Swagger reference. Yes, we have done. So it is okay. Let's Swagger. So yeah, it's opened. Click here, try it out, and click on execute. So now our API is called. So let's F11. Now we have reached to our business logic layer, and this method, now F11, and now we have reached to our product repository, and let's F10. So yeah, count to, let's see what is there. So yeah, it is connected to our database and fetch the data from the table. We have one ID, one laptop, and price sorry 50,000, and again we have second product, that is mobile, price is 20,000, ID is 2. So that we have in our database table. So we are now successfully connected to our database and fetch the data from the table. Okay, so let's continue here, and as we can see that our response is okay, and we are now able to fetch the data in the Swagger. Let's try to call it in the Postman. Copy this URL and let's try to paste it here. Our verb is get, so let's click on send. Again it call our API method, continue, and let's see, yeah, it also worked here. So now in this video we learn like how to call how to use entity framework to call the database tables. Okay, so what we done in this video, we created our database, that is e-commerce, and in this e-commerce database we created our first table, that is product. Okay, products, and in this table we have added two products, that is laptop and mobile. Okay, and then in this project we have used a layered architecture, and in layered architecture we have created one project, that is product.data access layer. Then in this data access layer we have added one repository, that is our iProduct repository, product repository, and we have added app DbContext to use the entity framework core. Okay, we have added packages, that is two packages, those are entity framework core and entity framework core.sql server, because our database is SQL server, that's why we added this one. Okay, and we have our identity as products, means our table is products, so we have added our db set here as products. Okay, and in this we are done, data access layer. Then we have our business logic layer here. In this business logic layer we have created product service. Okay, that fetches the data from the, that uses the product repository. Okay, to fetch the data from the database. And in this project we also used a dependency injection concept by using the iProduct repository to product repository, iProduct service to product service. And also we have also added our database here to use the connection string that is available in our app.settings in product API. Okay, we did this because we don't want to directly reference this data access layer to our API projects, that's why we added it here. Okay, so and in product controller we have used, in action method we have used okay result. Okay, by giving the iaction result as a return type, and created product service here and used that method. So, and successfully fetch the data from the database by using the entity framework core. Okay, so we are done for today. Okay, in this video we have learned how to fetch data from the database with the help of entity framework core in ASP.NET Core Web APIs. So we are done in this video. We will meet in next video and learn something new. Okay, till then, thank you. In the next part, we will add post, put, and delete methods to make our API fully CRUD ready. So make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you.